Going live. Going live. Hi guys, just a second. I'm going to start recording here. All right. We just have to do this and record to the cloud. Here we go.
Hello, hello. We're Cesar and Pam with CesarandPam.com.
You can grow your business without losing your soul, your family, or your health in the process. And if you're new to our channel, thank you for visiting. We have the same content or similar content in Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. You can visit CesarandPam.com. And we're starting to create now English content. Our primary content has been in Spanish. And now I lean heavily on Pam because whenever we're doing lives, for some reason, I start stumbling with my English. But
we don't have it too much.
I do. I think that's what happens. But so we've been talking about this amazing book called Love and Respect, and we're going to continue with the subject. And we're going to touch today on the subject, very important subject. Why is it that two people that love each other, it is clear that we love each other, they can hurt each other so much? And as we have discussed in other episodes, yes, we want to grow a business. We have a network marketing business. And as we want to build our business, we want to achieve success and achieve rank. But we don't want to do it at the expense of other things that are even more valuable than that God has given us, right? The Bible says, what shall it profit a man to win the world and lose his soul? What shall it profit a man to win the world, hit the highest rank of his company, of her company, and lose your family or lose your health, or get into all kinds of debt in the process? So we talk about relationships, husband-wife relationship, about parenting. We talk about health, and we talk about finances as well. And right now we're talking about relationships. So, honey, any thoughts about, to start off, why do we hurt each other when we know that we love each other? Why does that happen?
Well, I think that, it says in the beginning God created man and woman in his image, but he created us differently, and we do see things differently, and we have different needs. We hear things differently. So we're talking about really learning to decipher the code. That's what it takes to have good communication. We have to realize that it's like we're speaking different languages a lot of times, and we have to take time to decipher. And we have to believe the best. I think that's what we talked about last time, that agape love is a sacrificial love, and we're putting the other person first. We're going to be willing to tell ourselves a good story about the other person.
The author talks about the example that his wife loves pepper on the eggs that she makes, and she keeps on forgetting for over the years
that he doesn't
like.
Yeah.
And he could be tempted to think, man, does she not care about me? And she's going on autopilot, and it's not that. She has good intentions. Mm-hmm. It's just for some reason not at the highest on her priority list. So she has so many things going on at the same time.
Yeah. She doesn't think about that one little detail, just like he, is thinking about things after he showers, forgets that he left his towel on the floor, or that he's leaving his books sitting around all the time on the coffee table, and she would like them to be put away.
So the biggest mistake we make is you go inside your own head and you start telling yourself a bad story. You start setting up a game that you cannot win, where you tell yourself, well, why would she be like this? Why would she be so disrespectful to me when everybody loves me outside of this house and she doesn't seem to care about me? And the woman might think,
yeah, just that it's not important to him. That I'm not important to him. He doesn't value the time that it takes for me to pick up after him. It's like you assign intention, that the person intentionally did something because they really don't care about you.
Don't assign meaning where there is no meaning.
Yeah. And
he talks about when he counsels couples, I often ask, what causes fights and quarrels among you? James 4:1. I don't have my English Bible, honey, but do you remember what from memory?
What what causes fights and quarrels among you? Isn't it the evil desires inside of you?
Yeah.
You know, so we always point at the other person, but we need, there's stuff that we want. We're putting ourselves first. It's usually pride, right?
Pride comes before the fall. And he gives the example of a husband that comes home after being a whole week, he's been gone, he's been working, and in his mind he starts creating a perfect night when he arrives, a perfect evening, right? Oh, she's gonna receive me with a.
She's missed so much,
Yeah.
and she's, you know, we're gonna spend time together to make great love tonight, you know, because we haven't seen each other in a week.
And instead of her, you know, being all dressed up and with makeup on and perfume on and opening up the door of the house and he can smell the amazing dinner, she is busy inside. He cannot smell any dinner going on. And she greets him with,
"Whoa, you came home early." She was thinking he was going to come home later, and he got home early.
which actually meant she was going to prepare, but because he came home early, off guard.
If she got caught off guard, and she was in the middle of 20 things, you know. He's been gone all week, so she had to deal with everything with the kids. So immediately, what was on her mind right then? The teacher called today, and our son has been having problems at school. Do you realize this? I need you to, you know, since you're home early, can you go pick him up because he has to go to this other event? Maybe you can talk to him about it. And on the way, would you mind picking up the dry cleaning? Because that's what she was going to have to do. Because my sister really wanted to have coffee with me, and I told her that I would have coffee with her before dinner. So all he hears is, "Oh, you want to spend time with your sister, but you don't care about me. You just want to, you don't care that I'm home. You just want me to go to work."
Instead, he could have told himself the story. I wonder what she's been going through today. I wonder what problem her sister's going through that she actually had to set up a time the day that I'm arriving to sit down with her. I'm going to ask her later, right? Instead of telling her himself a good story. I was listening to a podcast by Jocko Willink, and he was talking about, somebody asked him, when's the last time you had a all-out fight with your wife? And he honestly couldn't remember. And then they asked him, well, what should I do when my wife is so stuck in her way about something and she's really mad? What's the best way to come at her? And he said,
how do I win the fight?
Yeah, how do I win the fight? Yeah. And he said, the worst possible strategy in a fortified position is to attack the fortified position. You need to flank the situation. In war, do not go up again, because what are you going to do? You're going to fortify yourself, and then it's going to be a all-out conflict, right? No, instead, you need to come on the side, but think not to destroy, but to build, to think long-term. So it's a long-term strategy. What's the best long-term strategy for our marriage, for our relationship? Telling yourself a good story. I know she loves me. She's so upset right now. Why? You're not being weak. You're being strategic. You're being strong. You're diffusing that conflict. You're overlooking that attack, and you're intelligently avoid the attack and start thinking, how can I come on the side instead of attacking, listening?
See, you could solve every fight.
Are you gonna replay this whenever we're having that? Like,
all he has to do is flank.
She was like, let me show you this recording from you.
We were fighting. I was like, are you flanking?
So if you don't do that, what happens? The husband says, I'm going to do the more noble thing. I'm going to be quiet, not say anything. And she takes that as what?
That he doesn't care. That's so infuriating now. Like, you want them to talk to you. Sometimes you just want them, you're telling them how you feel. You just think it's going to be easy. They're just going to be, oh, I'm so sorry, honey. I didn't mean that. I didn't want you to feel that way. And then you would be like, okay, thank you. I forgive you. But no, he takes what you're saying as a personal attack on his character and feels like you're saying that he deliberately did something, that he just feels like you don't think he's good enough ever, that he can never please you. And so he gets either quiet or gets more aggressive with his words, and you feel less and less loved. He feels less and less respected.
When emotions go up, IQ goes down. So
we remind each other of that.
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, it hurts to hear it right in the moment.
Yeah, when you're the emotional one, but it is helpful. You realize, I'm not making sense here. It's really, you think you are when you're emotional, but no.
And then he talks about then what happens at night, right? The husband waits, and then at night when they're in bed, he starts to give her a massage.
And she's like, don't touch me.
She's like, I'm tired. And at that moment, you're like, that's it. What am I just, what is it? Am I just a meal ticket to you? Oof. The people that you love the most are the ones that can hurt you the most, because you know how much that is going to offend her. Because I know how much that means to you for me to.
Yeah, because the wife interprets it as, you don't want to talk to me, you don't want to work these things out, and now you want sex, it's like, you just want to use me.
That's what she would say, right? Okay, just interested in me when you want sex? Okay. There's an Ecclesiastes 9:3 verse, and he quotes here, runaway, well, he's giving some quote first. Runaway divorce statistics reveal that, as Ecclesiastes 9:3 says, insanity is in their hearts. Einstein said that the definition of insanity is keep on doing the same things and expect different results. If you are on a roll of building your business and you're so busy and you're not given time to solve these little problems, they're only going to get bigger. Don't do that. Make sure you pause and work on it. On learning to decipher, which these are the steps, right? To learn to decipher that your spouse is actually speaking in a different language. Listen, try to understand. And if you see a frontal attack, go around it and think, what's the best strategy? Don't speak so quickly if you don't know what to say. If it's not going to be inspiring, uplifting, just wait.
Yeah, because we really are communicating in code. I underline, what I say is not what you hear, and what you think you heard is not what I meant at all. If we could just remember that, right? Like, okay, wait.
Say it again.
What I say is not what you hear, and what you think you heard is not what I meant at all. He gives another example where all of a sudden the husband is saying, he hears the radio on, and his wife is in the room with the radio, and he's like, are you listening to that? And there's no reply. So he yells again, are you listening to that? And there's still no answer. And finally he yells even louder, are you listening to the radio? And she yells back at him, I've been trying to listen, but you keep yelling at me and interrupting, So I'm like, oh, wow, that can happen. And really what he was thinking is, I wish they would turn off the radio if nobody's listening. So he was trying to find out if anyone's listening, but what she was hearing was like this command, like, are you listening? You need to be listening right now. And she's feeling a little frustrated that he's interrupting something she's doing, telling her she has to listen to the radio. Then she's trying to listen and he keeps yelling at her. I think that is so, that happens.
That happens a lot. And you say that I tend to do that with a tone of voice that seems to be very exasperated or in a hurry.
Yeah, just really aggressive.
It's not at all, many times, right? I started noticing sometimes that I'll ask her to do something and she'll be like, okay. And she'll stop what she's doing and she gets on the laptop to do what I said. And I said, honey, I need it right now.
But it feels
urgent.
like
it's not urgent. I didn't do it right now. But you receive it like I said it like that, right? Yeah. And it's a huge misunderstanding, right? So you underline that. Tell us about that.
What did I underline? Okay, I underline. At a certain point, the issue isn't about turning off the radio or whatever the miscommunication may be. The wife can get irked with the husband because he isn't being sensitive, something that most wives always anticipate or expect. So that's true. We start telling ourselves a story that he's not sensitive. In less than a minute, the wife can start feeling unloved and accuse her husband of being unloving. Meanwhile, the husband can get displeased with the wife when she starts talking to him as if he's insensitive. He starts reciting the mantra of many husbands, I can never be good enough. The husband is feeling disrespected or at least unfairly criticized again. A tiny spark in a dry forest can quickly catch fire. And if the couple doesn't know how to put it out, it can grow into a serious, what is that word? Conflagration.
Conflagration?
A big fire.
You're asking me? It's my second language. So
yeah, I think the whole crazy cycle is that something little happens. We assign meaning to what happens, and we go into that cycle of he doesn't love me. We say something, he feels disrespected. So he says something or reacts in a way that makes us feel that we aren't loved, and we go back with disrespect.
We need to learn to read the code. When we get a negative signal, instead of telling yourself a bad story where you're the victim and they're the villain, just try to interpret what is this code. Don't attack, frontal attack. Figure out what you're going to say. Don't speak, and then come in the opposite spirit. That's something almost seems impossible to do. You need to ask God to help you with. Speaking from experience, come in the opposite spirit. Remember that phrase from years ago when we were in Youth with Mission? Mm-hmm. Come in the opposite spirit. If somebody comes in anger, come in love. Mm-hmm. If somebody's impatient, come with patience.
Right. I mean, the Bible says a gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger.
Yeah.
We're so quick to stir things up rather than just put out the fire, be able to hear, oh, wait a minute. He needs to hear that I respect him.
Yeah.
And she needs to hear that I love her.
Yeah.
It'd be so easy. Put the fire out.
Yeah. Okay, tell us a story about the anniversary card, husband and wife.
So the husband was kind of known for not remembering their anniversary. So one year he's like, I'm not going to forget. And he goes to the store and he thinks he finds the perfect card because he just loves the colors, and he looks at it and thinks, man, she's going to love this. And he's just thinking about how he finally is remembering and how much she's going to appreciate, that it's important, see that it's important to him, their anniversary. So he signs something sweet in the card and gives it to her. And she opens the card and can't believe it. And immediately he's like, I can't believe it. Never, our anniversary doesn't matter to you. This is a great birthday card. Thanks for the birthday card.
And he gets offended. Like, what? Give me a little break. I mean, at least I remember it. And here's the temptation: to set up a game in your head that you cannot win.
Yeah. Well, then at first, I think he feels like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I got a birthday card. But then he feels like she's making such a big deal out of it. What? She doesn't think I care? How could she think that? And you start to defend yourself, right?
And what's so crazy is that he actually did it because he cared. Mm-hmm. And she actually was wanting for him to show that he cared.
Right. Mixed signals, that's for sure.
Yeah. So there's a study from the Department of Psychology, University of Washington, led a research that spanned over 20 years studying 2,000 couples who had been married for 20 to 40 years to the same partner. These people came from diverse backgrounds and had widely different occupations and lifestyles. But one thing was similar: the tone of their conversations. As these couples talked together, almost always there was what the research says, a strong undercurrent of two basic ingredients: love and respect. These are the direct opposite of and the antidote for contempt, perhaps the most corrosive force in a marriage.
Love and respect, and that's what the Bible says, husbands, love your wives, wives, respect your husbands. That's what we started this series with, that really God's word has the answers, and we haven't taken time to decipher the code. Why is he saying that? Because he knows what we really need. Yeah.
Talk about the hose, and speaking about the cipher.
Yeah, so something we can look for, the author says, it's if you imagine an oxygen hose hooked up to your wife or hooked up to your husband, usually in a situation, you see the moment when they lose air, when they deflate. The husband can see the wife just, like something happened. And if in that moment you can realize, wait, she needs to know that I love her. She needs to know that I care. Or when you see your husband, his response when you step on his air hose is usually more angry or cut you off, turn away, right? And so that's the signal. You stepped on his air hose. He feels deflated. The way you feel when you don't feel love. He needs to know that you respect him, that you believe in him still, that you don't think the worst of him.
Yeah, I mean, just this last Sunday, right, we were getting ready for church, and sometimes we have to serve at church, so we have to be there early. So this last Sunday, Pam and I and the two youngest kids, we didn't have to serve, so we had more time to sleep in a little more. And Pam usually makes an amazing brunch, and I try to be extra helpful, I thought, trying to help the kids get ready and be on time. And then we can't even remember, we were just talking about it during the live that we did in Spanish. Can't even remember why, but Pam was a little impatient or a little upset. And I took offense at that because I actually said, wow, the best day of the week when we can have this amazing brunch together before we go. I was trying to be positive, and she was a little upset. And I'm like, what? So I got upset. We got done. We got kind of quiet, which instead of being smart and going around and asking what happened, being stronger, I was actually weaker I thought I was doing the more honorable thing by not saying anything, at least. But then I didn't listen to you. I missed a chance to listen to you. But then here's the deal. Both of us had good intentions. Mm-hmm. And here's a practical help that has helped us a lot, and hopefully you can use it in your relationship. We're on the way to church, and Pam just looked at me, and I looked at her, and just made a silly smile, just as if saying, like, what was that?
Can we let that go? Yeah. Can we rewind? Can we start over?
Yeah, and she actually went like this. And I put my hand like this, and I was like with a dead hand.
And I'm like, come on.
And she's like, squeeze back. So, no, but actually just
it took him
squeeze
a little
back.
time.
It took me a little bit, but then like, and here's another phrase that you taught me, in this, just a phrase, be nice to me. Which seems so childish, but it's like, just be nice to me. I just want you to be nice. That's all. That lets me know that she's vulnerable. She just wants me to love her and cherish her. And if I say be nice to me, hopefully you get the same message. It's just like, be nice. I'm not trying to hurt you in any way. I'm trying to offend you. I don't know what happened, but I think we can work it out. Yeah. Because if we don't, I mean, how many times we've had stupid fights? You've had a stupid fight out of nowhere, out of nothing, like one with a birthday card, or the guy who came home from business trip. Maybe you were having your anniversary dinner of some sort, and because of an offense, you end up ruining the whole evening. And it's
not worth it. I mean, so many times that can happen, and then it becomes pride. We don't want to be the one to come around, and help the other person speak their language, speak their love language, decipher their code. If you know that he doesn't feel respected, let him know. I respect you. I'm sorry that I made you feel less than a man in this situation.
Think about times when you were going to have a great evening and you end up ruining it, and you were going to have great sex and you end up ruining that. The enemy of your soul he came to kill, steal, and destroy. The only weapon he has is lies. And the only strategy he has is division. So think about next time you're starting to have a dumb fight with your spouse. Wait a second. I mean, like he says that he was talking to a couple one time, counseling them, and they were fighting in front of him. And he said, whoa, time out. And asked her, would you trust him with your children? Yeah, actually I have, and I am right now. And he asked him, would you trust her with your children? Of course, she's the best mom. So if you know they're a good person, why are you letting yourself get so out of control? So basically, two people with good intentions who actually love each other, we create this make-believe world, let the enemy lie to us and divide us and steal from us. Because that night of amazing sex, that night of amazing communication, of an amazing dinner, amazing family time could have been yours, and you let the enemy rob both of you. See, the problem is not your spouse. The problem is we have an enemy who's trying to bring division between us because we are reminded of who God is, with the union and relationship we're supposed to have.
Yeah, I read this. I'm going to read something from the book, this chapter, and I thought, wow, and I think I should do this. Like, I should have it on a card, and in that moment, think, when you don't know what's happening, think, I'm going to decipher the code. And here's the code. It's so simple. Whenever a wife is complaining, criticizing, or crying, so I think we should just put complaining, criticizing, crying equals, she is sending her encoded message, I want your love. I got it? Okay. And whenever a husband is speaking harshly or sometimes not speaking at all, he is sending his encoded message, I want your respect. Like, it's not that hard, right?
That's right. Guys, so put this into practice. Hopefully it'll help you. It's helping us a bunch. And we will continue talking with all these subjects, to help you not to lose your soul, your family, your health as you build your business or career. We are
Cesar and Pam with CesarandPam.com.
So see you at the next one. Send us your questions, and we'd love to discuss them in the next lives. And we'll let you know if it's going to be YouTube or Facebook. We're not sure at this point, but just follow us on CesarandPam.com, Cesar and Pam, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Have an awesome day. And got it right here.